Good evening, viewers, listeners, wherever you are. Tonight we've been having some very serious technical issues. Hopefully, we resolved it in part. Just to bring you this broadcast, we didn't want to let you, our viewers and listeners, down, and so we had to push through the glitches just to come this far. It's 7:23. Usually we come in at 7, so we probably 24 minutes late now. But nevertheless, it's good to still join you, our folks out there. I know a lot of you been wondering what's happening, and we wouldn't just not come on the air and send a disclaimer or to let you know that we're not broadcasting, but we've been back here trying to rectify some very serious technical issues. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring you the show live tonight. This is our 81st edition here in the Issues Room. Volcano, Shelton, and Moses Sandy coming in now from Delaware. Moses has been tough here trying to get you and myself to hear each other, and even our guest, who is currently backstage. Um, but thank God, playing around and touching buttons and stuff on the console, and from your end, we've been able to kind of hear each other. So say something. Let me make sure I can hear you, because okay, I hear
Yes,
you. I hear you
I'm
giggling. So
I'm on. Like you said, it has really been challenging, and let me join you in expressing regret and apology to our many viewers out there globally that we coming on so late today. It has been a significant technical glitch for us, but as we always do, we are happy to be back in the issues room.
thank you. If you
Mhm.
just joining us, the Issues Room comes away on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 11 p.m. as we are now in this current time zone. Um, Hopefully, we'll be here for a little bit until the time changes here in America, where it will become midnight in the Greenwich time zone. In the meantime, we are enjoying the 11 p.m. in Liberia and those countries that are within the Greenwich time zone. We want to welcome our viewers out there in the diaspora, those of you in Asia, in Australia, in Canada, here in Northern America and Southern America, but particularly the African continent and Liberia, we say good evening and welcome. Moses, let's go straight to trending news. Just over the last 2 days, man, a lot has been happening. Sierra Leone on the last day or two have its own crisis, serious crisis, leading to few people dying, including police officer. And here we got the UP newly elected chairman got his house burned down this morning at 1 a.m. Let's start from your end. What do you have there?
Yeah, you started the process. You already discussed the top stories. I would just like to join you by letting you and the world know that Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji, the controversial city mayor, the arrogant, the man who many believes that he's an human rights violators, is currently in the United States. Someone, rhetorically asked me, but how did he come to America? You know,
The person asked you how did he get a visa,
how did he get a visa? Yeah, but
but the man a
one thing,
government official, my man, they make
yeah,
you official capacity.
for Canada, that's the good thing about the United States. The doors are always open, and they try to work with people. And that's the irony of what we have in Liberia. Jefferson Koji, uh, someone who is known locally and internationally for human rights violation, is in the United States. Report says that he's currently based in Rhode Island. And there's also report that a town hall meeting is being arranged for tomorrow. Yesterday, I saw a couple of broadcasts or podcasts via social media. Liberians who are champions of social justice urging Liberians in Providence, Rhode Island, not to attend the town hall meeting. And a friend I spoke to asked me about Moses. Why will Jefferson Koji, the city mayor, the who many believe is a tyrant, a violator of human rights, what will he be telling the people of Raleigh tomorrow? What do you think, Volcano?
Well, I guess you're going to tell the people I told them whenever somebody demonstrates or any group of people decide to demonstrate, we're coming in flesh and blood and we'll counter protest and we'll show them our full weight because we have to protect the CDC democracy because they're the only ones who have the democracy. You know, Moses, when you think about how these guys just radically spew out comments without, thinking deep before their utterances, it's sad. And these things will continue to haunt them and will continue to haunt this government. If this president is not holding these guys' foot to the fire, holding them accountable for the reckless way they speak, then I don't know what else to say. Because maybe he had that visa given to him long ago prior to, these incidents,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they didn't withdraw the visa, so that's why he's here. But other than that, I don't know what he going to tell the Liberian people that they already don't know. What is he going to tell us in the diaspora that we already don't know? We already know what's trending in Liberia. We see it every day. Social media has helped, give us the kind of information we need. Uh, and what do? We go a little further to speak with people on the grounds. And the good thing, some of us go to Liberia and see what's happening and live what's happening in the country.
I agree. The world has become a global village. And I would like to join the many human rights advocates in the Liberian community at home and abroad that are opposed to Mayor Koji's visit to the United States. I would also like to join them that, hey, Liberians should protest that town hall meeting that is being arranged for tomorrow in Providence, Rhode Island. Jefferson Koji lacks the moral credential to talk to Liberians. He's a he's a man who champion, social injustice. He violates the rights of Liberians at home, and I don't think he should be given the opportunity to speak to Liberians in the United States.
All right. So quickly, I told you I was going to come with the final count about the national exams,
Hmm.
and the result, the official result came out, where 12 graders, there were a total of 33,124,
Hmm.
33,124 12th graders who sat the West African examination exams, which is called the West African Examination Council, but they now name the exams itself WASI, which is West African Senior Student Certificate Examination. And out of the 33,124 students, only 11,544 senior students passed, and that's 35% out of 100%. So 65% of the senior students who sat the national exams in Liberia failed, and that number is 21,580 students failed the national exams out of a total of 33,124. That's a lot of people failing, 21,580 students, meaning senior students, 12th graders. Then the result for the ninth grader, and in fact, students who failed all subjects, all they didn't pass in ping. Librarian say ping. They didn't pass in ping. 649. 649 in total did not pass in ping. Not one subject.
Not one subject.
Not one. Then you got a
Let
total.
everyone leader. Let everyone leader. Oh my God.
Then you got the total count for the junior high students were 41,272. that took the national exams at the ninth grade level. Out of those amount,
Mm-hmm.
25,685 passed. That's a total of 63%. 63%. And then we have 14,817, which is a total of 36.58%, ballpark 36.9% if you round up, that failed. So the junior high students did way better, way better than the senior high students.
Yeah.
So that's a result for the national exams. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we have free education. The government supplying the schools. The government giving paying the teachers on time. The government putting all of the instructional materials. Oh, the schools have blackboards. The school have benches. The school have chairs. The school have what you call electricity, pipe on water, and all of that. And yet, we got what the government said. The government said they're
Eh,
doing
eh, eh,
everything
eh,
for
eh, eh, eh,
education.
yeah, that's what the government claims to be doing, but in reality, education remains one of the sectors of the Liberian government that remains underfunded. It is my understanding that on an annual basis, 25% of the national budget supposed to be allocated for education. But in today's Liberia, in George Weah's Liberia, the educational sector of Liberia remains highly underfunded. You have schools that don't have teachers. Like I told you the other day, go to Bopolu in Lofa County. Go to the very resources that top the national exam. Look at the school conditions. They are so terrible. Very, very terrible. You have teachers that they themselves are functionally illiterate. So if you have a teacher who does not even know what it means to teach, say, a course in mathematics, how do you expect the students to do well in mathematics? You have a lot of teachers in rural Liberia that are functionally illiterate. They
But
do not
Moses,
understand the
also
yeah.
quickly, so
Mhm.
we don't dwell on this long. Also,
Yeah.
you got to understand that many of these teachers are volunteer,
Oh
particularly in the
yeah,
Leeward
because they are
counties.
not paid. They
They're
are not paid.
paid, and
Yeah.
some of them are just high school graduates trying to, who also hustle their way through,
Yeah.
and they're trying to teach. So
Yeah.
they're not really trained to teach. Is that one man just decided to go back in the village and say, "My man, I'm here to help you," yeah? And he start teaching. So how do you expect these kids to pass?
Yeah, to
And
do it. Yeah.
the only other thing that we don't have in this report is the demographics. The total
Y-
demographics
Yeah.
across the country, so that you
Mm,
know who's doing what.
mm,
It
yeah.
just said
Mhm.
only Riverside County did
Yeah.
better this
Yeah.
year in the national exams. But I would have loved to see people in Montserrado, people in this county,
In
people in
Grand
all
Chile,
over the
in
place.
Lofa,
Yeah,
all those places.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then we
Hmm.
then we've been able to determine. But Moses, our guest here tonight, is already backstage. One of the guests.
Hmm.
We're still waiting to see his partner, uh, Nuwoe Foley, Wilbur Nuwoe Foley, is a Liberian in the Pennsylvania area here, particularly the Philadelphia suburb, who has decided to run tomorrow in the Liberia uh, Association of Pennsylvania uh, elections. They're vying for, I believe, all positions, and he's aspiring to come, out tomorrow as the president elect. He also has his vice president, Elma Garway, who we are expecting to be here momentarily. And he was here a few weeks ago, or several weeks ago, put it that way, with the Secretary General, the current Secretary General of the LAP, Stephen Bender. And that was when he tried to make his case. But from where we are, the elections is tomorrow. So we thought to bring his team in here, particularly he and his vice president, just to tell us what is their chance of coming through tomorrow. They have a very formidable opposition. I believe the name is Siyondi Kofa and
Yeah.
Sando Johnson. And those are folks here also who are vying for the presidency. I don't know if there's other presidential candidates, but I think the bottom line here, bringing these folks in, is to tell us what type of leadership we're going to inherit here in our state for our community, and will they be able to deliver on the promises they make? Because there's a tendency for politicians like Nuwoe to come and make promises and not live up to it. He talked about some grandiose plan the last time. So we want to know if we're arriving to something. So, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, our viewers out there, just before I bring in, I'd like to welcome Thomas Awaji. Thank you so much, bro, for coming through. Daniel Gay, you say I'm watching from ELW rehab area. It's good to have you too, my brother. And Mapla Nikia also from Pennsylvania. So let's bring in Noah. Wilbur Nuwoe Foley. Have you contacted your vice president yet? Is she coming in?
She's going to be on in 5 minutes. As you know, the campaign, we are very busy lately, given that tomorrow is the actual date for the elections. So she's going to be on in 5 minutes. We have been in touch. So I will go on and she will come in.
Okay. So Moses, let's start with you. I lay
Yeah.
the cards on the table. What would be the first question for candidate Foley?
Okay. He was yeah. Werber was here. In recent time, he talked about his campaign. But again, coming back, for every time you appear on a show like this, you always have um, newcomers watching you. So, Robert, tell our audience out there who is Robert Nuwoe Foley and what you bring to the position of president of the Liberian Association of Pennsylvania, and why do you want to be president? Answer those questions first.
Thank you. Thank you, Volcano. Thank you,
Mhm.
Mr. President, Moses Sandy.
Yes, sir.
Um, I'm Wilbert Noah Fuller, as you maybe, as you are aware, and I'm contesting for the presidency of the Liberian Association of Pennsylvania. Now, just a little about me. I am a native fellow man living in Liberia who was very fortunate to have come to Liberia um, through Duke University in North
You may
Carolina.
come to
So
America.
come to the United States.
The United States of America, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was privileged to come to the United States of America through the assistance of Duke University, through, I think, two or three writings they saw, and they brought me for their fellowship. They brought me over. But I'm just giving this little story because it is touching. Um, After high school, I went to try out the Heritage newspaper. They shut it down. Went to Analyst newspaper, never came to light. And then I went to oilabaliberia.com. Um, there where I stayed, I applied for a program at Duke University, got qualified, no money to come. And but, about 5 months later, I wrote the directress of the program just to check on her. And she replied, Wilbert, Wilbert, I'm so depressed. My cat died. And when she saw her cat die, I formalized the death of the cat. I sent her official sympathy for the death of her cat. I made it sound so. I made it sound so.
Yeah.
I mean, so important, like it was a human being.
Oh, yeah.
And when she saw that email the next day, she said, "Wilbur," she replied me. She said, "Do you know that you are the only person who expressed sympathy for the death of my cat?" She said, "Because of that, I will bring you to Duke University."
Wow.
I thought it was a joke. So, I think the next day I saw an email, Wilbur, there's a package on the way for you. When you get it, call me. Reply to me. A week later, DHL called me. Mr. Foley will have a package here for you. I went, I picked up the package. It was a plane ticket value $2,700 to come to the US. Then I began to think that, oh, this is rare. All that time I'm talking no visa. Then
Okay.
I sent her email. I received the package. She said, good. Now I'm sending you the letter of invitation. I will send you a copy and I will send one to the embassy. And she did. The next day she sent the letter to me. She said, go to the embassy and book your appointment. I went to the embassy, booked my appointment. They called me in. They asked me two questions. Mr. Foley, who sent it for you? I said, Duke University. Then the next question, are you a member of the Press Union of Liberia? I said, yes. I presented a letter to them. And that was all. He said, sir, We print 3 visas at a time. So when we get the third visa, we'll call you back. And that's how I left the embassy. 2 days later, I got a call from USIS to go pick up my passport, my visa. And that's how I came. I landed at Duke University, completed the program, moved to Pennsylvania, then went to Temple University. And currently, I work in several capacity, mental health, work as direct support staff, managers. The last several jobs I did were manager, supervisor. And currently, I teach. I'm an educator. I teach at a middle school. I actually teach 7th grade. So, but given my own experience in the classroom, I saw the need to help our community. So when a group of friends came to me and said, "Foley, we want you to contest," because I was initially supporting one of my friends and big brother, Alaska Wisno. So he in 2019, but he stepped out of the race. And I was a spokesman for the campaign at that time. So some group of friends from the team asked me, "Foley, we want you to fill in the void." I accepted. Then I decided, what can I do when I get in this position? Then I thought about the classroom, the challenges faced by young children, young people in the classroom. I figured that due to the initial No Child Left Behind, it actually did harm for inner city students, because a lot of them don't have the resources, and a lot of them come from single parents who have to work 1 or 2 jobs to make ends meet. So they watch TV, video games, or on the street, hanging out with friends. And because of that, a lot of them are not actually studying. Only a few parents are really dedicated, challenging their kids to do the work. So, but we send them to the next class every year because they have to go, whether they do the work or not. They have to go. They are not being challenged. As a
No
result,
child left behind.
yes, as a result, a lot of them they will graduate from high school, but they won't make it to college because there's no free grade in college. You have to earn it. So my passion to get in this race, my calling to get in the race is because we want. When I look at that, and then I look at the challenges of the Liberian Association of Pennsylvania, established in 1978. And as we speak, there's not an office. There's not one single hall in this place that Liberian can use. There's no program for Liberians. So I said, no. Then, because I have worked as a therapeutic support staff in many community centers, and realized that we can do the same. If other community centers can operate, the Catholic services can have programs going, the Jewish services can have programs going, Nigerians can have programs going. Why not Liberians? So we decided to get in the race with the desire that within 18 months to have a community center. Now it may sound a little challenging, but I can tell you that with the resources in this country, especially to help children, you can get it. Because after the research, we realized that a lot of the community centers are sponsored by the city. The city, the federal government, the state, nonprofit, philanthropists. So I said, well, yes, we can do this. So that is why we came in a race. And what we intend to do in that community center, we want to provide after-school programs for our young people, including mentoring and tutoring, as well as social and recreational activities. So it's not going to be only academics. We're also going to have things like basketball leagues, just all year round, just to engage our young people to get off the street. Parents can feel comfortable to drop their kids off after school. We will mentor them, we will tutor them, and we'll provide them the needed assistance they need. And one good thing is they will be mentored and tutored by people who look like them, speak like them, and people who they can relate to. Oh, this man, my father from the same county, they're from the same country. This lady, and my mother from the same county. With legal services, immigration, as well as defense lawyers. We want to have at least once a week immigration workshop, and as well as defense lawyers. Moses, there's money for the programs, and a lot of firms and a lot of lawyers do offer pro bono, certain amount of pro bono within a year. And we also have qualified Liberian lawyers and immigration lawyers as well, defense lawyers, who will be willing to volunteer their services once they know that the Liberians have program of this nature. We want to have other literacy program. We also want to have computer training programs for our seniors. We want to establish a database for Liberians in the state of Pennsylvania, along with their qualification, where the government of Liberia and private entities in Liberia can tap into that database to find qualified Liberians for positions in Liberia that they cannot find Liberians to fill, instead of giving it to foreigners. There's another thing that also touch into. We bring our parents to America, Moses, and Volcano. A lot of these people stay in the house all year round, especially during winter. It's hard for them. And one of the leading causes of cancer and other illnesses is depression. These people in Liberia, they are used to moving around, interacting with family and friends. Yeah, they are just stuck in the house babysitting. So we want to have one day just dedicated to them, one day dedicated to our elders, where they can come and just engage one another, people of the age group, and play bingo, ludo, checkup, and we also have structural activities for them just to keep them engaged. So based on the success of that program, we might extend it to another day or two. But we want them to we want to reduce the level of depression in our community, especially amongst our elders. And we also intend to have mental health workshop. The goal of our plan here is to transform the Liberian Association from a nonprofit on paper to a functioning nonprofit with full-time staff. We want to have childcare services where we will hire Liberians. In fact, the moment we get the facility, then we can work on a license to establish a childcare center. And when that childcare center opens, we want to hire Liberians to run it. We
So,
want Liberians.
Was it? Was it?
yeah,
So this is where I wanted to go. You
grow,
talked about
go,
the
Volcano.
Liberian community being established since 1978, Bobo. And I've been in Pennsylvania for a good number of years, over a decade,
Yeah,
and
I've
I've
not
not
heard
seen
about
anything. I've not seen anything substantial around here, except people run around the place holding title.
that.
What difference with the Garway? And matter of fact, Garway is here, so let me let her come in now before I give you this question. Maybe she will have to chime in.
You want to
Uh,
throw the rocket, eh?
yeah, Elmo,
Yeah, go.
welcome. How you doing?
How
Thank
are
you.
you?
How are
You
you?
good?
We're
Yeah,
great. We're
good.
great. Welcome to the
Yeah,
issues room.
yeah,
This is not his first time, so he knows how we do it. So you talked about the litany of things that your campaign is intending to do, but I'm
yeah.
sure that we've heard these stories time
Yes.
immemorial. Time immemorial. I've been around for a few of the LAP's elections, and these
Mhm.
guys come to power and they utilize the power to align themselves with ULA and try to seek position in Liberia. And nothing is held and nothing is left here for the people who paid the $35 to vote them into power. And sometimes you come out of pocket to canvass and to pay for voters because it's the name of the game. So
Yes.
the things you talked about, and I'm not sure if you were on by the time and you heard him. He talked about all of the things that you guys
Yeah,
have to
he
do.
has big plans,
So
big
a
plans.
lot of plans. I don't
Yeah.
need to reiterate because you're part of the campaign, and so it means you know and you're aware. Tell us after tomorrow if the Galway Foley team wins the elections. What would be the first thing regarding all of the things that you have on your agenda? What would be that first thing that can be tangible for the voters to say, yes, these folks mean business?
So the is that for me
Yeah,
or
yeah.
okay.
You
So
you
the
know the campaign, you know the story, you know the project. I'm sure you're part of it. So he's talked a lot. So let me hear from you, or let us hear
Okay,
from you.
well, I want to say first of all, thank you. I had some technical difficulties, so thank you, Mr. Shelton and Mr. Sandy, for having us on your platform. We appreciate you. So I
It's a
want to say thank
pleasure.
you and hi to all the viewers. So the
It's a
first
pleasure,
business of
Edmund.
order would be to get our proposals out. We've already started writing proposals to try to get funding because there are funding that are allocated for these things for organizations like ourselves. So the first order would be to get our proposals out there to start to get a community center. That is our first chain of business, you understand. And I'm sure Mr. Foley went into that. Wasn't on for most of the interview, but this is our main focal point, to be honest, to get
Okay.
programs running for children to get the youth out of the streets, our senior citizens to start to help people. So our first chain of business would be to get our proposals out there because we have a few, whatever we need to do. Are we going to get a building? Is it going to be, funded through the state and all these things? So it's that would be our first goal, to get our community center running for sure.
Thank you. So just before Moses comes in,
Mhm.
you had your debate last Sunday, if I may recall. I wasn't at the debate. I would have loved to, but I was engaged. Anyhow, I heard the debate went well. From the debate, the debate is a precursor to tell you, oh, wait a minute, I think we can flog our opponents. Do you see yourself emerging tomorrow, your campaign, your team emerging tomorrow victoriously from what you've seen at the debate? This is my concern.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Honestly, the only thing we're waiting for is just to get handed over this win. Absolutely. Because we thought this out. He's an educator. I'm a psychologist by nature. And I have, one or two organizations myself that I run. And it's not as easy, yes, but when you know what you're doing and you have the right target in mind and you have plans, nothing will get you there than having a detailed outline plan. And this is what we have. The minute we decided, hey, we're on this thing, we did all of our homework, we did all of our research. You can have a fundraiser night. It just happened. MC had their fundraiser in Philadelphia this week, and they raised close to $50,000. So there's no way that you can say that you cannot raise money for anything. Worst case, you understand, if proposals falls through. So it's no way. And it honestly is mind baffling that nothing has been done when we know there are money allocated for these things. We know that Liberia is like small America. We know that these people actually love Liberia. And we know that to have one person in prison is so much more expensive for the state. So we know that they will do anything to have kids out of the streets, you understand, and in these programs. So we already know that. We know all of the given factors here, you understand? So absolutely, it's just a matter of winning and going at it, to be honest.
Thank you.
So,
Moses?
yeah, and I would like to throw this to the both of you, but I would like to start with Mr. Foley.
Okay.
Robert, I want you to do a comparative analysis. Anybody watching this podcast tonight will want to know what makes you different in terms of leadership from Ms. Seyondi Kofat, the presidential candidate for the other group. I'm sure you have two presidential candidates contesting this election, right?
Right.
So what makes your team, or what makes you as an individual in terms of leadership different from Seyondi? What do you bring to the table, and why you think you should be elected?
Thank you, Moses, for such a wonderful question.
Mhm.
The difference between us is we got in this race because based on passion, we want to help. That is the difference. The difference is we want to have something set up to help our community. We are not. We don't want to use this for future endeavor, for political ambition. No, we are. I'm seeing every day I'm seeing on a daily basis the challenges faced by young people, and Liberian kids are also victims of the challenges: gun violence, poor academic performance, um, domestic abuse, sexual violence, um, gang-related activities, drug abuse. So, and the thing is, there's nowhere Liberians in the state of Pennsylvania can go for help. There's no way. We want this association, the community center, to be a resource center where once a Liberian entering the state of Pennsylvania, just landing from Liberia, can say, oh, the first place someone will recommend them to call the Liberian Association of Pennsylvania, because we want to have resources. That's why we say we intend to have full-time staff that will run these programs. We want Liberians. That should be the first place Liberians can call for assistance. And the difference between me and my opponent,
Mhm.
we are independent. Me and my VP, we are our entire team. We are independent people who are working with one goal. Unlike our opponent, the current administration, the current president, the vice president, the secretary general, and 4 past presidents are in that camp. What they do, these are people who have run this association. They have decided who runs the association for the past 15, 20 years. And I will tell you, we haven't even had the election in 15 years. They frustrate their opponent. So the candidate, their endorsed candidate goes on an empty white ballot. And they have done all to us, but we still refuse to get out of the race. So we will be making independent decisions. Whereas our opponent, you have all the gurus who have ran this association for 30 plus years, and we have nothing to show. We don't even have an office.
It was just the status quo.
Yes, the same status quo. So they put two innocent faces up front, and then all the gurus went in the back. I will tell you, Moses, the registration ended on July 31st. Because we are so progressive and our agenda is so progressive, they fear that they cannot control us or control us from the back. They all went running the other side. On the 1st of August, a day after registration had ended, the president and the secretary general secretly and clandestinely continued registering people for our opponent.
But
until the church.
Have you raised a red flag already? Because that could be a violation of the process.
It is. We did, and we would not have known.
You mean that secretary that appeared on the show here with you?
Absolutely, he's in the opponent's camp. Yes, he's in the opponent camp. He's running on the ticket as secretary general. But I just got information today that he was disqualified for some unethical behavior. So, yeah, then you have all the past presidents in that camp. So we raised concern. We wrote the bill contesting the bill and the election commission contesting the illegal registration of more members by by our opponents with the assistance of the president and the secretary general. The bill look at the.
Listen. The man watching the show. The man said, "My Nuwoe." Breaking news.
Yes, Jimmy. Breaking news, Jimmy Bender. But the man can call in. Yes, Jimmy can call in later.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let him say something. Let him fight for his own life.
Yeah. Continue. So Moses, we filed a protest to the Liberian Association of Pennsylvania board. They look at the evidence. And ruled out what the president and secretary general did contravenes the election guidelines, and they stepped out of that authority. So they said those names cannot be added. They disqualified those names. Okay. These guys went to EULA, but because they have 4 past presidents in their camp, and the current president and the current secretary general, EULA came out. EULA is insisting that those names be added to the list. They came out and said, "Oh, okay, what the president did was illegal. It was illegal. It was a violation of the policy of the election guidelines and the Constitution. However, your added name to the list, it will cause no harm." We are talking about between 80-something names. That's a number that can decide who wins the election.
You kind of fade it a little bit. Just say the number again. The number of people.
Yeah, we are talking about between 36 to 80-something names, because they took the first 36, they registered them. They took another 37. The treasurer said, "No, this is wrong. You guys are cheating for it. Ford is not aware of this. I don't want to be part of anything that is cheating." That's how the treasurer called me. And I put the president on the line. The treasurer sat away from the president and said, "Yes, Mr. President, you guys are registering people for the other camp, which is wrong. And I don't want to be part of it. I have a reputation to protect. Please, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go to court." And that is how we file protests. But EULA is coming in to stick it down our throats. EULA is saying that those names should be there. And we know the reason. But EULA those who are involved in the investigation don't live in our city. They live out of state. And they have their interests. So we are saying that, look, do not come here and cause chaos in our community and leave us. We want to have a peaceful transition. We want to have a peaceful transition. Moses and Volcano, Liberian Association of Pennsylvania have not had elections since.
Your internet, yeah. Oh my God.
It may using
So
Metro PCS.
That's the
some of
playbook.
them they and don't let the Yula people want to do something to them or so no quite in on the
Okay, good day.
the
Because
We
man
are too
talking too
progressive for
well.
them. Yeah.
so
Yeah, but go
let's hear from the
ahead.
vice president. What's your layer
Okay.
of this whole thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely what he said, and the thing is, it's so disheartening, to be honest. And like I've told everyone, be it that it may, whoever wins will still come together as a community to support those people. Absolutely, because we all have one goal, and it's to better our community and come together in unity. But they're making it so tough. Even up to this point, we still don't. I think maybe up until an hour ago, we didn't have for certain where we were voting. There's no way you won't have a location in place for people to know where they're going to vote. That shows this
So
organization
so
already.
so
So now
so,
we got to constantly tell our voters, okay, no, stay put. We got to go here. So it's so unorganized, but you know what? That's in the rear. After tomorrow,
but
we are
but
just
look,
focused on moving forward. And that's the only thing we can do realistically. How do we
so
move forward from this? You understand?
so Miss Garway, quickly, not to really cut you off. You struck a very a critical issue. Are you telling us election is scheduled for tomorrow, and up to now, you guys do not have a clear understanding of the polling centers?
And not to attack anyone, because I
Yeah,
do
but I mean,
understand.
that is something that we need to know. That is something that the public wants to know.
But Moses, and
Your
the truth
voters are
is,
out there. Yeah,
Right.
Moses,
go
Me
ahead.
what I mean
Emma,
now
Emma,
now
Emma,
as of
Emma,
today,
Emma,
I
Yeah.
think
Emma,
there
can
is
you
a
hear me?
location, but it's just, even if it was a day ago or 2 days ago, it's just, it's
Emma, can you hear me?
Emma, do
yeah.
you hear Volcano?
Okay. So my concern here is that there's supposed to be a picture of what should happen in Liberia
Hmm.
in our
Yeah.
national presidential elections coming up in 2023. If we cannot set the pace, the structure,
Yeah.
a precedent in a society of America, like a society here in
Yes, a
America,
society such as
where, where,
this. Yeah.
where all of the facilities are in place. It's just a matter of working beyond the hours to get things structured. Then what the president would look like for our national elections come 2023 in Liberia? Because this should be, maybe the word is right, microcosm of the bigger picture, a
Of
smaller
course. That's it.
LAP election
Mhm.
followed by EULA. But if they're already practicing malfeasance at the hem of these elections coming up, then what's the credibility? Then why have the Liberian Association of Pennsylvania? Why? Well, you don't have the polling stations in place already. We don't
Already,
even know who will be manning those polling stations. Who are the pool washers? you know, all of
you
that.
got no clue.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
you
All right.
guys
I,
are at a
I
you're
can
at a
comment
mercy.
on that if you yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is the problem, right?
Hmm.
The election commission, I mean, this is the first time in LAP's history that we are having something that is close to a transparent elections. And the reason for that is through the court's intervention. If the court wasn't involved in this process by now, everything from what we have seen, everything would have been done to kick us out or even cancel it. But the board of directors, LDP board of directors, are now standing up to do the right thing. The board of directors, headed
Mr.
by Mr.
Foley, please hold. I didn't open the lines, but there's a caller calling from Minnesota.
Mhm.
Mr. Caller, please lower your monitor, please. Yeah, you have to lower your monitor. We're getting feedback. You gotta lower it totally. Yeah, okay, you're good.
Okay.
No,
So
you still have to lower it totally. But I'm hearing feedback in the background. Yeah, this is Stephen Bender. Okay, I was able to pick up the voice. Yeah, welcome to the issues room.
We are not hearing him.
You see, Camila should continue.
No, is he speaking of Volcano? We are not hearing him.
You can hear me?
No, we're not.
Hold on, Stephen. I'm hearing you very clear, but it
We are
seems
not
like you're not
hearing
hearing.
him.
I guess we're having that same issue again the other day. All right, go ahead and speak. I'll just put you through the mic. Go ahead.
So I would say I'd like to first thank each and every one of you for providing an opportunity for all Liberians across the state of Pennsylvania to be heard. I think the platform is doing a very great job, and I'd just like to thank you on behalf of the management and the leadership and board of directors of FLOP. I wouldn't want to get into politics of these elections, but from the leadership standpoint, I can tell you this much. The leadership has put in place all of the necessary mechanisms that are needed to ensure a smooth, fair, and transparent elections. Come tomorrow, Liberians across the state of Pennsylvania will vote to those who like real leadership. And we are hopeful that tomorrow election will bring to bear a new leadership structure that will lead our people for the next 2 years. We've come a long way. We have a lot of challenges. There's so much to do. And like any other organization, we all share our own pile of challenges. So I would like to make that very clear. I listened to the speakers. I thought it was my own friend and brother, Elma Garway. She's a very brilliant girl. I like her a lot. And but let's be truthful to our conscience. Let's talk about those things that are real, and let us not politicize the interests of our community. Because guess what? People's lives are at stake here. We are the oldest organization.
But Mr. Bernard,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Bernard, you're polishing the conversation here.
I'm
But you're not.
speaking to the core issues.
Yeah, but you're not being specific here. You're making it seem. I'm
Just said
coming,
all of
Mister.
the mechanisms.
I'm coming now. I'm coming. You're making it seem as though that everything is well, and the opponents of the camp that allegedly you're supporting have put forth some issues, some irregularities even prior to the elections tomorrow. I thought you would come here as the current Secretary General to make clarification. Do we have the polling stations in place? Is it
Uh,
true that you guys were trying to register some people past the deadline for registration? Those were some of the things that were mentioned. I think you should be addressing that, Mr. Benda,
so,
as
so,
the current secretary.
so again, I will go back to what I just said. The leadership has put into place all of the necessary mechanisms to ensure this election is not only free and fair, but it is transparent.
What are
And
those
like I said,
mechanisms you're
What
talking
and
about?
I was
the
about to
main
ask
order
you.
of
I was
go
about
ahead.
to ask you, what are those mechanisms you talk about?
So,
Do you first disagree that the fact you were registering voters after the deadline? Do you agree to that?
I mean, I mean, people, I don't know what people mean when they say after the deadline. Because here's the thing. Okay, now I'll put it this way to you. If you go to the bank
Let
and
him
you go
raise
to
a
a 6
voice. We're
o'clock
not hearing him.
and you are on the line at 6 o'clock, should the bank officials or the employees tell you that you cannot do the transaction because after 6?
No, if I'm in the building and on the line, that's different. But if
Okay?
I'm
Yes.
outside and
So
they
now
close the door,
you are in the bank after 6 o'clock, you close the door, then somebody's going to come to you and say, even though you're in the bank, but it's after 6, you can still do a transaction. Is that something you feel comfortable about?
but it's in the day after. You talking about in the
I
bank?
mean, it's up to the reason I'm saying this, I'm asking this question because this is exactly what happened.
But
But
you're being
are you?
hypothetical and rhetorical. But
Yeah, yeah.
it was the day after, Stephen.
Everybody from the leadership standpoint,
And
what happened
is
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 that
is Stevie implying that they
like
did indeed register people after the deadline? A
They
everybody
did.
deadline is a deadline.
was
Right.
registered first. Now, as we
Unknown to
know,
us too.
you are
Yeah,
very specific.
that's wrong.
So you have 5 minutes time to
And then they
register.
gave us the option to register people as well, and we
Oh no,
declined.
You have
At,
five minutes.
it shouldn't be like that.
People wait up
Moses, he's
until the last
speaking.
minute. Hold on. People wait up until the last minute to do that registration. Now, the cutoff was 12 midnight. At 10 o'clock in the night, from 9 o'clock, people started to transfer money to cash out. Now, you know it on your cash out, any amount above $1,000 raises on the life for fraud. And so the system, the management of cash out detected that there were a lot of folks coming in an unprecedented faction, and so the casual system started to experience a financial glitch. Now, as a responsible administration, what we thought to do, and we did, was to immediately communicate to the community. Look, Liberians, stop sending money to the cash app. Stop immediately. Cash app is down. Stop. Don't send 1,000. Don't send 2,000. Don't send 3,000. Stop. Your money will not be accounted for. If you send money, you are doing it at your own risk. What we want you guys to do, go to the bank tomorrow in the morning. All those who attempt to send money to cash app is having these problems. Go to the bank tomorrow morning and complete that transaction. You will still be considered. That was the decision the leadership made. Now, in the minds of others, see that as an extension of registration. For us, we don't see that as an extension.
But did you notify the other camp, Stephen? Did you notify the other camp?
A very good question.
Did you notify the other camp, or rather, did you unilaterally do what you wanted to do? Yeah. No, he wasn't aware. He did. He said they didn't know.
The man said they were not aware. Y'all did it on your own.
He said there was a press statement issued.
The president got on the phone and he placed a call to all of the candidates, all the counts. They were aware. So it's not like we selectively selected one group of people to benefit from this. And this was something. Okay, well, let's be true to our conscience. We don't run systems around here like that. Maybe our own mobile phone. Sometimes we experience glitches. And hey, should we throw our phone away? Should we just move the phone so it's not ours because it's glitch? No, we gotta work with the system. For somebody to feel and think that because of the system glitch, that is equivalent to an station. I mean, man, come on, man.
All right.
I mean, let's be truthful to the conversation here.
Okay, so the clarification is made. We want to thank you for coming through. We hope that the process will be free and fair tomorrow. You said, yeah, you said all the mechanisms are in place.
The vice president talked about up to now there's no food centers. There are food centers. The announcement was made.
Can you just tell our audience where are some of the polling centers?
Oh, hold on. I'll tell you in a couple of minutes. I got all of those right here. So number one polling center is the Southwest, the Church of the Living God, Kowudolope Church. If anybody knows Kowudolope Church.
Kowudolope Church is one of the. It's on Woodland Avenue.
But look, Volcano, quickly, why he says that, I want you to ask him, did they send a list of polling centers to the candidates instead of him trying to do this online? Because these people need to know.
Yeah, as of now, we are aware.
Oh, God.
As of last night.
Oh, God.
And we are hoping that people can show up tomorrow.
So what happens, Stephen, just before I let you go, what happens to the other Liberians in communities like Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, and all these faraway places? You only name places around here, and the fortress is the one in Northeast Philly. So what happens to all these people on the other side of the world, Coastville?
That's something that every one of us have been asking for a period of time. What the leadership did was to provide the necessary support to the Elections Commission. We don't work for the Elections Commission. What we did as a leadership was to provide the level of support and the resources they needed. So we provided the resources. However, because of other circumstances, according to the Elections Commission, beyond that we control, at this point in time, they cannot accommodate all the Liberians in the area. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why they said they can't accommodate all Liberians is because the records so far show that not many Liberians in those areas that you just named actually register a record number. Some of those areas, people like 5% register, 2% register, So in the mind of the Elections Commission, it will be a waste of resources to man a polling station in those areas only to service 2 registered voters or say 10 registered voters. So they thought it was in our ways to narrow it down to 2 polling centers. Sensified, according to them, the vast majority of the membership is highly concentrated in the Southwest area and down in the Northeast.
All right, thank you. I see you called from a Minnesota number. Did you run away from the elections tomorrow, or are you still around?
I am in the
But man, are you in Pennsylvania? Because I'm coming to that pool. I won't see you. Okay.
But he's a candidate. This man is a candidate, right?
Okay.
I called also like this both for Stevenson. I'm contesting tomorrow. I'm on the ballot contrary to reports that have been taken up. And for true, that has made a ruling.
Oh,
People that have followed a recent ruling for Iraq and truth has triumphed for it.
all right. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations to you guys. I want to wish Putin the best of luck in tomorrow's election. I want to thank you particularly for being very civil during all of these periods of our elections. And I think these are the kinds of conversations we should be holding because guess what? It's not our community, it's not ourselves. So as we move around the whole discussion, let's put at the back of our mind that our community comes first. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Stephen Bender is
Secretary General.
saying that Eula has slammed the gavel and everything is in place. But Eula is not even credible. They're taking money from
I would like to.
corrupt
I would like.
means.
I would like to come.
Eula has credibility problems. So
I would like to come in if to make
Yeah,
some
go ahead.
clarifications.
Go ahead.
Mostly and Volcano. Listen,
mhm.
this guy is talking about. This guy is talking about. My friend and brother Stephen Bernard is talking about the Cash App had problems. There was no problems. There was not a single problem. The treasurer, after they were caught, the president and Mr. Bernard
No, don't say they were
secretly
caught. Say they were caught red-handed. I like that.
right-handed. After they were caught right-handed, the treasurer called me, said, Mr. Foley, these people are cheating. They are secretly registering people. And what the president and I had talked on that Sunday, 31st, you guys continue sending money. We cannot cash it out. Cash, I had no problem. I sent $1,500 Sunday night. So up to 10 p.m., my one of my supporters sent her $35 to register. The Cash App had no problem. They said send your money to the Cash App. The only problem is we cannot cash it out. But send your money, we'll give you receipt. We continue sending our money, and they gave her receipt. But because Mr. Bednar is running as Secretary General in this camp, and the president is also in the CND's camp with four other presidents, they devised a strategy to secretly and clandestinely register more people. And the treasurer told the president on the phone with me that what you are doing is cheating. She told the board of directors who investigated this issue and found out that one, the president does not have the power to unilaterally extend registration to another day. So they said no, those names cannot be added because those names, the money was in the Cash App the day before. Two, we met with Eula doing the investigation. We were all online, and the treasurer told Eula the Cash App had no problem. She continued to receive money, and they told everyone to continue to send the money. She told Eula in the meeting. When Eula left and went and made a decision. When we called them, they said, oh, we called the treasurer. We called the treasurer after you guys left the line, and the treasurer told a different story. I said, but what the reason for you to call the treasurer? The treasurer explained everything. So after the president was called, then he extended olive branch up. Oh, Mr. Foley, you can register a senior. We'll give you a chance to register the same amount of people. Only when he was caught, I told him no. We came with change. We cannot come with change and get involved in the same bad habit. We did not accept it. The board of Liberian Association of Pennsylvania board of directors investigated and said this was wrong and was cheating, and those names cannot be added. Eula went and made their own decision, realized when they made a mistake. They came back to me, Mr. Foley, you can register the same amount of people. I said, no, we are coming to bring in change. We cannot be caught doing the same old thing. For me,
why you didn't tell us you provided money? Let me register the same amount of people.
Someone even offered to pay half of the money.
No,
but it's the thing, even if they brought the full amount, we still would not have accepted it. Because you know why? We have our reputation and history will judge us tomorrow. That we went about, these people only provided us that opportunity because they were caught. They would not have given it to us.
All right, guys, we're running through time. We got about 8 more minutes to wrap up. I know that we had some glitches coming through, but at least for my time here, we passed an hour now. Moses, one more question from you, and then we'll be looking at closing. after my final question, or if you want me to go now, I can go.
No, I can go. Let me just put this to Emma and Mr. Foley. Uh, do you have trust in the electoral process? And if yes, why? If not, why?
I will answer. Let me answer that. Well, as stated, this is the first time we are going to election in 15 plus years,
Hmm.
and yes, we do have confidence in the election commission, and we do have confidence in the board of directors. They
Who
have
is the
stood up.
elections? Who is the elections commissioner?
The election commissioner is Kalakbo Gonglo, the younger brother of Tewan Gonglo, who
Okay.
have stood his ground to make sure the process is transparent. And there are other commissioners because this commission is a compromise commission. The people who for this same behavior they did in 2017, where they tried to rig the process and it went to court, the judge instructed that the party litigants and the administration work together. So it is a compromise election commission where the current administration appointed two persons and the party litigants appointed two persons and the community elected the fifth person. So because of that, the administration cannot strong arm the election commission. If it was not a compromise and state mandated commission, court mandated intervention, they would have dismissed this commission long time ago. So the commission is doing their part. Since they cannot control the commission, they try to floor the voter roll. There where the problem has always been. Floor the voter rolls with a lot of their people sometimes unpaid for. And in this case, it was after the deadline. So the
Okay.
commission is doing the work and the board of directors are doing the work. But it's you lot now who is trying to strong arm the board of directors and the election commission to accept those names that were fraudulently registered after the deadline.
But why is ULA so involved? This is community
Yes,
election. Why is ULA so involved with this process?
because of a memorandum of understanding that was signed. In 2017, there was a court issue. 2019, there were several court issues.
Yeah.
And so no election was held. The administration never held elections. They claim it is COVID. Until 2002, when the community got frustrated, some elders came together and decided to set up interim administration. That is when the current administration decided now we'll go to election. We had national elections in 2020 in the midst of COVID. 2021, they never had election. 2022, they were compelled because of the eminent people who came together, said, look, we are tired with this, we have to move forward. That is why there was an interim structure set up with this administration. So ULA came in as a compromise to work together to instead of having two elections, let the two groups come together and go to have one election. We will maintain the current administration, but we will set up a joint election commission. So it is that memorandum of understanding ULA is using as a tool to do what they are doing. And the board of directors, thankfully, they are standing up. So we'll see how long they will stand. Because as we speak, those names haven't been added because the board is still standing in the election commission. And I will tell you, even ULA is asking us now. I got several calls today. I got several calls 2 or 3 days ago. Oh, we can give you time to register the same amount of people. And we said no. How can we come in to change a practice that we deem wrong and be part of that same wrong? So we have declined their offer. So they are
Let me
stuck.
let me come to Elma quick as we wrap up here tonight. Elma, what is your
Yes.
passionate plea to your voters tomorrow? I know that you campaigned and you have a lot of folks coming through to vote your ticket. Um, what is that plea? And even people who are in the other camp, knowing from the debate how you guys espoused what you're going to do, how you're going to start off with this community center, which is really, really needed. Because I've been to Minnesota and our association, the
Association
Association of
Liberian
Liberian
Journalists
Journalists, ALJA, we've had our uh, uh,
Convention.
convention and session at OLM, the Organization of Liberians in Minnesota. They have their own building. In fact, they rent the building out, and that's a lot of income coming back to the community. This is a very laudable effort on your part, on your campaign's part. So you need to get in power for us to see this come to fruition. So what
Right.
is that plea? What is that plea tonight to your voters and those who are from the other camp?
Well, the plea is you have to come out first and vote like your life depends on it, because it does. You know, being a mother myself, I know the cost of after school programs. I know what it is to take kids from babysitter to babysitter, which is how kids get molested. They get involved in things. So, especially if you're a mom or a single parent, because, you know, the kid could be living with dad, you need to come out and vote, because we will be that support system that you need while you're at work. You understand? It's nothing better than when you're at work and knowing that your kids are safe. You understand? Even for now, we have somebody on our camp who helps expunge juvenile records. So a lot of kids have come here not knowing what their culture is, or their culture have been watered down. And unfortunately, they have gotten into the American society of doing things. So a lot of young adults, I mean, young juveniles here, don't know what it means to be a Liberian, don't know their background, because what, mom is out working 2 3 jobs, and they kind of have to fend for themselves. So your life depends on it. At least with us, we're going to have programs that will teach your kids about their culture. You know, we'll have senior citizen day. If you have an elderly mom or an aunt, they can come out and interact with other people. I hear so many complaints because I get involved, you know, with the older people in our community and the youth. They want to go back home. This place is cool. It's not for us. We can't go outside. We can't do nothing. There's no interaction for them. You
Yeah.
understand? So I plead with anyone who has a mother who has kids here, and that's it. We need to serve together as a community to help each other out. We are too many here to not have anything for ourselves. In my closing statement, as poor as Liberia can be, or war stricken, and all the hard times we fell on, you go to Liberia, you will see somebody in the corner celebrating. We are happy people by nature. No matter how much we don't have it, we celebrate. So why wouldn't we want something for ourselves? You understand? Instead of paying $1,000 to somebody, you could pay one fraction of that just for us to help keep the lights on. So we need something for ourselves as a community. We need to show. So come out and vote like your life depends on it, because it does. So that's my plea.
Foley, quick.
Yeah.
My fellow Liberians in Pennsylvania, you have the opportunity tomorrow to elect a new code of leaders. And you can look at both teams and make that decision.
Mhm.
We have a platform that is very progressive, that appeals to our people. We want to have a place for our people to turn to for resources. The community center will be a place where Liberians can use to have programs for just uh, uh, a fraction of what you pay to go somewhere else. Besides, we will have the center will be a resource center for Liberians. We will have full-time staff to identify assistance that Liberians can benefit from. Liberians, please, this is the time you have to make the needed changes we need in our community. Please turn out tomorrow. Vote for Foley, Wilbert Nuwoe Foley, and Elma P.J. Garway. We have two polling centers. Um, Pastor Dolope's church, which is 2133 South 61st Street, Philadelphia, PA 19142. You also have another center, Divine Fellowship International, I think Divine Fellowship Church, somewhat on Castro Avenue. I believe it's 6417 Castro Avenue, Philadelphia, PA. So please turn out tomorrow, vote for Foley Garway. That's your chance of redeeming Liberians in the state of Pennsylvania, giving us some sort of dignity, because we have stated, I am saying in 18 months, if we don't have a community center, I will resign. Thank you.
Thank you, lady. Thank you, gentlemen. It was good having you folks in the issues room. We wish you well tomorrow. Turn on your numbers and go and vote. We need structured leadership that will impact our community, especially when it comes to um, having our own community center that we can point to. Other Liberian communities are doing that across the U.S. And I don't know, Philadelphia being one of the oldest and more populated places of Liberians, we can hold
Mhm.
together. What's the problem
Mm-hmm.
here? We want a Guinness, we want a club beer, and we want a what do you call it? And we want
The
good old
Corona,
timer
Paul
football.
Lam.
But when it comes to the
Yeah,
real nitty gritty of substance, we don't want to put a hand behind it. But again,
yeah.
two wonderful people who were grateful to have you guys here in the Issues Room.
Thank you.
We look forward to bringing you guys back after the
Yes.
elections to see what the outcome. So we wish you
Yes.
well. By the
Thank
way,
you
Thank
so
you.
much. Have a
by the way,
blessed
Thank
the
you so
issues
much.
evening.
room is
Sure,
not
Emma.
campaigning for
Okay, bye,
anyone.
Mr.
Thank you.
Sandy.
We open
Yeah.
we open the opportunity to everyone. This is your own platform. We've asked you to come on, but some people continue to shy away because they don't know what they're going to
For
face when they
reasons
come in the
best
issues
known to
room.
themselves.
So, Foley, thank you for being here. Moses,
Yeah, well, I would just like to say that I'm happy that finally Liberians in Pennsylvania have decided to get it together. You know, Volcano, you follow the history of lab. They spent several years in court. So to see them go into election, it signals that the community is ready to move forward. And we hope that the process will be free, fair, and transparent tomorrow.
thank you, my brother. It's the
Sure.
weekend. We will catch up at some point. We discuss during the course of the weekend to determine what we'll be doing on Tuesday.
Sure.
Um, in the meantime, I'll try to continue to, you know, review the
Yeah.
situation here in studios as to what happening. You will review on your
Yeah,
end.
man.
Don't know, don't know. Listen, these gadgets they have a way of just how we the human being can get
Oh,
sick,
yeah.
they
Hmm.
can get sick too.
Oh,
But that's
yeah.
why, as the doctor, I will look at it tonight. I will check. I will do all the testing just to make sure what's happening.
Yeah,
But hopefully, we had a. I thought it was a good
it
conversation. We
was.
laid out a lot of good stuff.
It was.
We don't have a lot of audience tonight because people are always involved in
Yeah.
Bolivian politics. Sometimes we
Hmm.
got to let
Yeah.
those things play themselves out.
Yeah.
There was a lot we could talk about, honestly,
Yeah, but
regarding, and let's just quickly reverberate to the last two things that we didn't get to touch deeply. And that had to do with the burning of the newly
yeah.
elected chairman, Luther Tarpe, the
Hmm.
Reverend, whose home was gutted
So,
by fire.
mhm.
And it was gutted by fire. I don't know the source of the fire. I'm not going to speculate, including the vehicle, uh, at 1 o'clock this morning. Fire service was right around the corner near the president's house. They never pick up to come. And when I listen to some of the interviewees, I'm concerned about that, Moses. When you think about institutions that's supposed to be, responsible to the country, not to the president, not to the minister, not to a special person. The fire brigade, they'll call it the Liberian way. The fire brigade has a responsibility to every citizen in the country because it's a public service institution. So
Beautiful.
if they're right around the corner and they see flame going in the skies and smoke and people are wailing and crying and trying to use water from the well,
Or the primitive
using
means of
primitive way
yeah,
of turning,
extinguishing the
and they're
fire. Yeah.
sitting there clapping because of what it
Mhm.
was.
Yeah.
No one showed up. Even if they had come in the middle of the fire, no one showed up. This is
But
what do you make of
and I yeah, I just want to say something quickly about that. I had the opportunity of listening to the former Secretary General UP, Mr. Mo Ali, on a talk show called "The Class Reloaded," and he did say that the fire service was contacted, or the fire brigade was contacted, and uh, authority at the fire bureau reportedly told the callers that they just couldn't show up because they had no fuel. And what Mr. Ali said just further corroborated what was reported last week, that the Ministry of Finance, on a monthly basis, supposed to make available $5,000 to the fire service for operational costs. And for the
Moses,
past,
Moses,
yes, yes.
Moses, Moses.
Hmm. Mm.
Listen, what I think about the way these guys are running the country is just like, okay, you know, they just
Yeah.
rationing things here. Okay, you know what? We'll get your 5,000. Don't worry, get your hold it. You'll buy a few. But the few you giving to the man, his family ain't eating. The people man in fire brigade, the family not eating. You think the man will
Yeah.
take the $5,000 and buy the few?
But no,
What
Volcano,
kind of country is
before
this?
no, before you even get to that level,
Yeah. What? What? What?
there,
Why
there
will you be giving? I'm telling you, why will you be giving money allowance to
to
institutions
run
that
the
are
fire.
so important in
Yeah,
the country, Moses?
yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
why will you be
Budgetary
giving money allowance
allocation,
where it should be budgeted?
budgetary
And you turn the
allocation.
man amount in the budget, hold him accountable for actual spending, and you do audits.
Yeah.
So you stand to they're walking around, go to these
Yes,
places like fire
man.
brigade, say, hey, my man,
Yeah,
you're 500, you're five
it's
thousand dollars for you buy a few.
yeah,
Then
it's
you
a
move around, you
primitive
go to
way. Mhm.
what kind of trouble is this?
The primitive way of doing that. And
And
guess what?
these people really want to be running that country for another 6 years?
Yeah, and then guess what, Volcano? Even with that arrangement,
Listen, look, my man, listen,
uh,
someone why you that crazy man. Someone why you say and this is one of us say.
the
Someone
fire
why you say the
process
fire
and the
truck
administration
atmosphere
will
will
be
flat tire.
well, yes. And what Thomas is
Oh
saying, it is true because
man. Again,
authority,
Moses,
yeah,
Moses,
yeah.
after the election, we'll shut the issues room down. Because I know what else. I know what else we'll do. Because
Man,
any better go less this way. What will we talking now? What will we talking? The man,
okay,
I me give a person
authority,
5,000 customer, man. I keep budget for the
yeah,
month. And the man
ever
family
get
eating.
yeah, ever get authority at the fire bureau are saying that for the past 4 months, the $5,000 that's supposed to be paid monthly
Uh-huh.
for the past 4 months,
That only
they
one
have
time
not
ago.
received a dime.
Okay. I was trying to be nice. So the past 4 months, he received a
They
dime.
have not received a dime from Minister Tue.
But let's stop there, Moses. The fire truck that is sitting around the corner from George Weah house and his
Yeah,
properties.
no fuel, my man.
No. Stop that, Moses. Don't do that.
That's what
No,
that's what they
Moses.
said.
Moses, listen to me. For once. The fire truck that is sitting near the president's house
Yeah.
around the corner
Hmm.
is loaded with fuel,
No
water,
fuel.
pump tire. Any problem, they running the straight to his 47 condominiums,
Yeah.
to his
Oh,
Jamaica
okay.
Road Resort, and
Okay.
to his house and to his nasty restaurant
Yeah.
and whatever else. So don't tell
But
me say the president fire truck, his own fire truck.
oh, okay. On fire
Yeah.
truck. Okay, okay.
The man got his police, the man
Oh
got
yeah,
private
okay,
school
yeah. Oh yeah.
as the
Yeah.
director of police,
My
but he
man.
got a special unit that read
Yeah.
it on him.
Exclusively,
Yeah, so
for
what you telling me? I
servicing.
talk about the
Yeah.
main fire truck around the corner, then you talking about no fuel? What? It's not possible.
Yeah,
So
in that community where the party chairman lives, you have the former vice president or other eminent Liberians live in the same community. Even the president himself, he lives in the same community.
but that's what I'm trying to tell you, that the fire trucks were right near the president's house, according to
Yeah,
what
but
I saw.
then the Verify Bureau is saying
That
that
the
they never
excuse
have
now, old
fuel.
man.
Yeah,
Ain't that the
yeah,
excuse?
yeah. So they
You think
put everything on tour.
Obon house, Obon rehab house on fire. They would sit on there and let it burn.
And the people
It's
put
not
everything on
possible.
Samuel Tuema, man. They said Tuema has not given them money.
But it's not possible. So then
Yeah.
the last thing we want to talk about quickly just before wrap up is the Sierra Leone crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Marabio is back in the country. I saw the clip.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah.
The man got off the ferry because
Hmm.
in Freetown you gotta go fly into Longueuil and then take
And
the
then before you get okay.
ferry and come into Freetown. He had
Hmm.
this the street was not loaded, people were not out
No.
because I think curfew is still in place.
Hmm.
Um, but he's back in the country. So what do you think?
Yes. So well, what I read about the people took to the streets of Freetown because of the high cost of living. the hike in prices, the high unemployment rate, and then other challenges. And so they took to the streets asking for improvement in the economic situation in the country. And not only did they call for improvement, they also call for the resignation of President Marabio. You know, they believe that he has not been an effective leader. But again, people outside Sierra Leone who are following development in Liberia and Sierra Leone, they did a comparative analysis of the two leaders, George Weah and Marabio. And a lot of people outside Sierra Leone believe that Marabio is more a better leader than George Weah. There's significant progress in terms of local development. He has a good understanding of what it means to be a leader. He's in control. Uh, he's better prepared for the job as compared to George Weah. You know, everybody knows that it's an open secret that Mr. Weah is functionally illiterate. He doesn't understand his job duties and responsibilities. He depends more on his supervisors than he leading. So he has Natana McGill, Samuel Tua, and the others that are literally running the country while he's following. So and I tend to agree with that. I think Malabio is better than George Weah in terms of leadership. Yeah,
All right. So here's my final thought on all of this.
yeah.
When these guys are coming to run to be president for these broken down countries that have
Hmm.
not amount to anything over its existence, Liberia in particular for 175 years. I keep hearing people imagining new Liberia. How can you imagine a new Liberia after 175 years of existence? You
But
have outlived your time. You have outlived your existence because the
in
Bible
fact,
tells me. Moses, let me
Volcano.
let me make my point, please.
No, quickly, I just wanted
Yeah,
to piggyback to
but
add on to what you said.
but you
You
want
are
to lose you
no,
want me
you
to
are
lose my.
reducing the age of Liberia. Liberia is 200 years old.
I know,
Liberia
I know,
has
I know,
175
I
years
know,
of
I know, I
independence.
know,
Go
I know.
ahead.
But I'm
Go ahead.
talking in terms of independence. So what I was about to say is that biblical times are here, and the
Yeah.
Bible that I believe in as a Christian tells me that we're in the end time.
Yeah.
We're in the end time, and it's pervasive all around us. The things that are happening, rumors of war,
Mhm.
you know, of, unaccounted for deaths, pestilence, disease, and all of these things are happening. Natural disasters.
Yeah.
But yet, we're still imagining a new Liberia after 200 years, but 175 years of independence.
Right.
And these guys decide to inherit this country. I tell you, Moses, you and I talk behind the scene.
That's
And I
true.
tell you, Alexander Cummings wants to be president. Daniel Kessel wants to be president. What's his name? Joseph Boyka wants to be president. Tiawon Gonglo wants to be president. Do these people really know what they're going to inherit? A country
Well,
that don't have electricity, a country that don't have water, a country that don't have a reputable healthcare system, a country that doesn't even have education. In place, we just talked about the numbers of students that failed.
yes,
A
yeah.
country that don't doesn't have a robust agricultural
Economy.
sector. No, a robust agricultural sector in place where everything we eat is dependent upon foreign,
Yeah.
import.
Hmm.
Have these people really thought about the depth of the issues Liberia is faced with, the depth of the issues Sierra Leone is faced with, the depth of the issues Guinea is faced with, the depth of the issues the West African sub-region is faced with? But yet they want to be president. And the thing is just, okay, I come in and I'm confused and this is it. Look at George Weah comes to power. He jumping all over the place doing things.
Yeah.
He building pond, fish pond,
Yeah.
and calling it a
Yeah.
swimming pool.
A swimming pool. Yeah.
What
And
the fun these people are playing?
he read.
For you
He
to
read.
take a job, you need to understand the intricacies of the job, what the job
Absolutely.
requires.
Hmm.
As educated as I am, I know my limitation.
Oh yeah.
I don't put my mouth and I don't put my intelligence to places where I cannot tackle. Because there's something called tackling. When a task is put before you, you need to be able to tackle the task.
Yeah.
And if you look in the future and you know that task is unattainable, don't attempt it.
That's
Don't
true.
attempt the task.
Mhm.
How can you attempt the task when you graduate from online school? How can you attempt the task when the hearsay is that
That
no, no,
volcano
I'm
boy is a
coming, I'm
bad
coming,
boy, my
Moses.
man.
So how can you attack the task when you hear that it said that some people did your schoolwork for you? How can you attack the task when you don't address your country? You can't even, in simple English term, you can't even say something.
No.
For 5 years, we can check between what you have said to the nation. And you go to the United Nations, you struggle over reading your own
Yeah.
text. And then the Liberian people clap for you for the
Yeah.
first time. You come
And
to
then
address the country at the legislature, and what is written you did not proofread it overnight, and then you read it and you're struggling to pronounce the figures, and you're
yeah,
laughing
yeah,
at your own self because you're embarrassed.
yeah, you're embarrassed,
What type of stuff is this?
and
People need to get serious. People need
absolutely.
to get serious. So I want to say this, Moses. You gotta come in. You got your
Yeah,
time.
no, go ahead.
Come,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
come 2023. I'm still afraid for our country. I'm sitting here tonight and I'm speaking in the strongest term because my future is already almost buried.
Oh yeah,
The
our
things that I
kids
can do
now.
for my country, the contribution that I can make is almost buried.
Yeah,
It's almost buried because in anticipation for another 6 years, for whoever comes there, I'm still worried. And I'm seeing this in emphatic terms. Someone has to show me honestly that they're up to the task. Because you hold a broom, Tiawan Gonglu, you may not sweep corruption. The broom you hold inside don't even have stick. So it may not even be able to sweep seriously. Mr. Cummings, you can talk about all your corporate experience. Liberia is another story. It's another
yeah,
situation. It's another serious situation. Joseph
yeah,
Wagner, you can talk about your 40 some more years in public service. It doesn't mean nothing until you get there to the reality of the text of time. And I
yeah,
tell you, Dr. Daniel Cassell is not ordinary. With all your psychological background, you may not be able to psychologize the Zogos. They know who they want. They know the market women know who they want. So we're in a serious situation. So going forward, Moses, we got to start enlightening our people because this is not just because you say you want to be president and we gave you the gavel. We want people who will deliver the country. And that's where I
I
want to
agree.
stop because it's a
Yeah,
Herculean task. It's not ordinary. And some people need to know the limitation. Not everyone can be president.
I agree. I agree. What you're saying does make a lot of sense. But Volcano, I want us to look at the tax of running the country from the perspective of life. Beside media person, let me make this self-disclosure. I'm also a career uh, clinician. You know, and sometimes when I talk to people, I help them understand that there's no life without stress. Meaning there's no life without challenges. It's the same thing with running a government. Everywhere you go in the world, there are challenges, but the ability to understand what those challenges are and figure out the solution is what makes Volcano Shelton different from Moses Sandy. It's what made Moses Sandy different from my friend and brother Joe Mason. And the list goes on. So basically, the point I'm making here is that, yes, I agree that Liberia has significant challenges. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf came, you know, and whether we like it or not, we can give her some credit for that. She helped to stabilize that country. The late Samuel Doe will have minimal education.
Moses, I
before
will have to
Sunday.
pause you there, and I'll have to pause you there because I'm very mad now.
Yeah,
When you
go.
tell me that Ellen Johnson stabilized Liberia, it's only because we had the United Nations. If the United
Yeah,
Nations was present in Liberia, many of the things happening now under George Weah wouldn't happen. So let us
but
not give Ellen Johnson no credit for
no,
stabilizing Liberia.
no, no.
She enjoyed no Moses.
Yeah,
She enjoyed the support of the international community plus the
absolutely.
presence of the United Nations.
But she was more of a better leader
Oh no,
as
no, no! But
compared
don't
to
tell me
George
that she
Weah.
stabilized the country.
No, no. But the point I'm trying to drive here is she has some level of control. Liberia was
Let,
stable.
let's
Whether
yeah,
with,
but let's say that.
yeah, with
But
international
don't
support,
neglect the presence of the United Nations.
yeah, with international support, with
Yeah,
her leverage in terms of leadership,
I just wanted to make that clear
yeah,
because
with
the depth of the lack of rule of law in Liberia today.
mhm,
Have we had some kind of external force, whether ECOWAS, whether the United Nations, it wouldn't be that way.
mhm.
The country is running itself.
Yeah, okay, but now again, Volcano, this is where again we come back to Mr. Weir's functional illiteracy. Mr. Weir doesn't understand that he's in charge. So as a result, everybody is governing, is doing things his or her own way. Nobody seems to be in control of anything.
Got
That's
your own
that's that's the
CCTV.
problem.
Got your
Yeah,
own
they may, yeah,
CCTV.
you have a high crime rate, you have people breaking into homes like the chairman, the party chairman of UP was saying today. He said, hey, people were saying that why you didn't go to the police to report. But the man said, where's the security in the country? The president said everybody should get their own what? CCTV. Who is in charge? The guy said since he became party chairman, and not to go off tangent, let me just say this. He said since he became party chairman of the UP, he noticed that his vehicle was being towed on a consistent basis. And the speculation also is that what happened at his house this morning was the doing of insiders of the Weir administration. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But he's making some significant claims. And guess what? Coincidentally, his house was reportedly set ablaze. At the same time, the party headquarters of UP in Riverside County was also set ablaze this morning. What a coincidence. So, George Weah, in terms of national security, in terms of leadership, he doesn't know what he's doing. When Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was there, yeah, we said, yeah, we had international people on the ground, but Ellen Johnson had some level of leverage in terms of leadership. She held people accountable. Yes, she didn't do everything 100%, but
Except her
she,
son, right?
yeah,
Except her son, who walked away
she,
with millions of
yeah,
dollars.
yeah,
Listen,
yeah, she
I'm not
didn't,
trying to make no comparison here. I'm just
yeah,
talking
no,
about.
yeah, yeah,
Listen,
but the point,
Moses.
yeah,
I'm just talking about the depth of Liberia's problem. Everybody wants to be president. They
yeah,
do not understand it. They've
yeah,
not
so the,
looked. They've not looked at the situation. Liberia is a serious problem.
yeah, that's what I was saying. That
Don't
Liberia,
come here 12 years, you collect and make all your cronies and you yourself rich, and you walk away and leave the country in a state of mess. And then you give it to a young boy who has no experience, who knows nothing about leadership, and then he's surrounded by a bunch of other people who don't know nothing.
and
And
then
here
what
we
happened?
are. And then we
Now,
have people, I'm coming, and then we have people who say they want to be president, but they
mhm,
don't even understand the depth of the problems of Liberia. You
yeah,
know, the
but
next thing I want to do, I want to start bringing these folks out here so
yeah,
they
so
can
we
tell
can
us
sit
what they
and
really
discuss
know
this
about
thing.
Liberia, what they
Okay.
really know, what the problems of Liberia, because
so
that's where
so
we are. But let's
so
wrap up
Buki-
because we got a
yeah,
minute or two now.
yeah. So the point I was trying to make here is that with the leverage of training work experience that Cummins, Dr. Cassell, Joseph Boakai, Tewan Gonglo, and the others who are vying for the presidency, their education, their training, life experiences over the year. Any of these guys come across as more or prepared for the job than George Weah. That's said, because George Weah does not understand what it means to be president.
Messi
But
child.
but
Messi, I mean, I
yeah.
remember my son, man. All I can hear. Yeah.
Gonglo knows, Councilor Gonglo knows what it means to be a president. He knows what it means to be a leader of a group. Donald Cassell has the same understanding. Alexander Cumming does. And the list goes on. How can you be a supervisor at a job instead of supervising your supervisees are supervising you? Then who are you? And
My man
that's
will
George
stop
Weah.
that. My man will
Yeah.
stop that. I
Oh, I
beg
mean,
you.
that's it. Yeah. So that's the problem we have, And that's why George Weah should not be re-elected, Volcano. The man
Yeah,
has
I'm in
exacerbated,
agreement.
he
I'm in
has
agreement.
exacerbated the situation in the country.
Oh yeah,
That's why he has to
it's
go for
worse.
someone to come and improve living condition of our people.
It's
If you
worse, man.
really
It's
like,
worse.
if you really like George Weah, life in Liberia will crumble. That's how I would like to wrap it.
Moses,
Yeah,
good conversation, man. Listen,
it was.
I'm telling you honestly,
Yeah,
we can do this all night.
yeah.
We can do this all night. But you know what? There's a time
No,
for everything.
I know.
And
It was a good
irrespective of
Friday
yes,
evening too, my man.
and irrespective of yes intend to run another 6 years, I don't know
Yeah.
what it would do if even he won the presidency and get to his last 6 years. When the men start fighting, they will overthrow and
uh,
make a coup. Because
and my man
yeah,
might get
yeah,
already preparing
yeah.
to take over
Because
from the
something
man. So
something got to
easy.
end. Something does end.
Yeah,
So the issues room
yeah,
must end tonight. And I
yeah.
want to thank you for the opportunity
Thank you.
for us to be
Thank
able to
you.
gather, irrespective of
Sure.
how we started on the rocket road. I want to
Yeah,
thank Thomas Awaji, my brother. Thank you so much. It is indeed serious and scary when you think
it
about
is.
Liberia's problem.
Yeah.
I also want to thank Manisumo for coming through, Dr. Manisumo, Stephen Bender for stopping by. And, we have Mapla Nikia and Daniel Gayu. Hope you are still there with us. We didn't have a lot of
And,
comments in the issues room tonight, but irrespective of that, we're still
and
cool. We think the topic it was great, and we'll hopefully be back here Friday Tuesday with something more stronger. Because you guys like politics. Go ahead, Moses.
yeah, quickly, I just wanted to throw this in. We have gotten reports that the PLP, the People's Liberation Party of Dr. Daniel Cassell, will this month begin touring states in the Midwest. It has been reported that he will be in Minnesota, and from Minnesota, he will be visiting North and South Dakota, where there will be, town hall meetings. The objective is what? To sell the PLP, tell the people what the PLP is about and why he thinks he can make a good president. That's what we have learned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Good night, brother.
Sure.
Thank you all for watching. We'll be back here on Tuesday. My name is Volcano Shelton. Have a good weekend. Good night.